My parents let my brother Tyler's hockey sponsor, Mr. Christopherson, molest me for 2 years, starting when I was 13 because he paid for Tyler's Olympic training until Tyler caught him assaulting me at his 16th birthday party and beat him up. Then, our parents kicked me out for ruining Tyler's career, but Tyler quit hockey and we ran away together. After Dad offered Mr. Christopherson an 11-year-old girl named Madison, so we exposed everything and got him arrested with 15 years in prison, while our parents got 2 years each. I hate my brother Tyler. He's the hockey star, and I'm the girl our parents sold to keep his dreams alive. They let his sponsor, Mr. Christopherson, do whatever he wanted to me, as long as he kept paying Tyler's fees. It started when I was 13. Mr. Christopherson owned sporting goods stores and offered to sponsor Tyler's hockey career. My parents treated him like God. When he offered to pay for my dance classes too, they practically gifted me to him. The dance classes were real, but the rides home weren't. He would park behind empty buildings and touch me. When I tried telling Mom, she slapped me. "Don't you dare ruin this for Tyler with your lies," she said. "Just be nice to Mr. Christopherson." So I stayed quiet for 2 years. Tyler's hockey got better while I got worse. I stopped eating and talking. I wore baggy clothes and hid in my room. Tyler noticed, but what could he do? Our whole family depended on Mr. Christopherson's money. My parents started letting Mr. Christopherson take me on weekend trips for fake competitions. They had to know, but Tyler's Olympic dreams mattered more than my safety. At family dinners, they called Mr. Christopherson a saint while he smiled at me. Tyler would squeeze my hand under the table, but we both knew he was trapped too. Tonight was Tyler's 16th birthday party at the ice rink. Mr. Christopherson gave him custom skates worth thousands while everyone cheered. I escaped to the bathroom to throw up. When I came out, he was waiting in the dark hallway. "Tonight's special," he said, pushing me against the wall. "After all I've done for your family, you owe me something special." His hand covered my mouth when I tried to scream. Tyler found us first. He saw Mr. Christopherson holding me down and snapped. He broke Mr. Christopherson's nose before the coaches pulled him off. There was blood everywhere, including on Tyler's new skates. Everyone was screaming and recording on their phones. In the car, my parents were silent until Mom turned around and slapped me hard. "You selfish brat," she screamed. "You've ruined Tyler's career. Everything we've worked for." Dad agreed. "You led him on and caused a scene. No scout will touch Tyler now because you couldn't keep your mouth shut." Tyler tried to defend me. "He was attacking her. Didn't you see what he was doing?" "Shut up, Tyler," Dad said. "You don't understand how girls like your sister operate. She's been flirting with him for attention. At home, they told me to pack. I was going to Grandma's until I learned to behave." Tyler followed me to my room crying. "I'm so sorry," he said. "I should have protected you better." He gave me an envelope with $500 and a phone number. "That's my friend's sister. She's a social worker. Call her when you get to Grandma's and tell her everything. They'll destroy your career," I said. "I don't care anymore. This is my fault too. I knew something was wrong, but I let hockey matter more." He hugged me for the first time in years. "I'll fix this. I promise." While I packed, I heard my parents on the phone downstairs. Mom was crying and begging Mr. Christopherson not to press charges against Tyler. "We're so sorry," she said. "Lily has always been troubled. She's leaving tomorrow and won't bother you again." Then Dad said something that made me freeze. "Tyler has a younger sister on the travel team. Madison just turned 11. Very mature and grateful girl. Nothing like Lily." My heart stopped. Madison was Tyler's teammate's little sister. She always asked Mr. Christopherson for piggyback rides at games. Her family was even poorer than ours. I ran downstairs. "You can't let him near Madison." Mom grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. "You've done enough damage. Get in your room before I call the police and tell them you attacked Mr. Christopherson." "He's a pedophile," I screamed. "He's the reason your brother has a future," Dad said, "and you're the reason he might lose it. We should have sent you away years ago." Tyler came downstairs then. His face was white. "Did you just offer him Madison?" He asked our parents. "Are you insane?" "We're trying to save your career," Mom said. "The career you just threw away for your lying sister." "She's not lying," Tyler said quietly. "I've watched him for 2 years. I just pretended not to see because I'm a coward." Dad stood up fast. "Don't let her poison you too. You have practice at 5 tomorrow. This will blow over if we handle it right." Tyler looked at me, then at our parents. "I'm done," he said. "I quit hockey, and I'm calling the police." "You ungrateful brat," Mom screamed. "After everything we've sacrificed." Tyler grabbed my bags. "We're both leaving tonight, and if you go near Madison or any other girl, I'll tell everyone exactly what you let happen." As we walked to Tyler's car, I heard Dad yell that we were dead to them. Mom was calling Mr. Christopherson again. I knew this wasn't over. They would find another girl, another family desperate enough to look the other way. Tyler started the car. "We're going to the police station," he said. "Then we're finding somewhere safe to stay." I saw Mom watching from the window. She was holding her phone and smiling. That smile terrified me more than anything Mr. Christopherson ever did. Tyler's hands shook on the steering wheel as we pulled away from the house. I watched the rearview mirror, expecting to see Dad's truck following us, but the street stayed dark. My phone buzzed with messages from Mom. I didn't read them. "We need to stop at an ATM," Tyler said. His voice cracked. "Get as much cash as we can before they freeze my account." I nodded, still processing what just happened. 2 hours ago, I was at Tyler's birthday party. Now we were running away with nowhere to go. The police station loomed ahead, but Tyler drove past it. "I thought we were going to the police," I said. "Mom's smile," Tyler said. "She's planning something. We need to think first." He pulled into a gas station and withdrew the maximum from 3 different ATMs, $800 total. His hands still shook as he counted it. We sat in the parking lot while he called his friend's sister, the social worker. She didn't answer. "It's almost midnight," I said. "We should find somewhere to sleep." Tyler started driving again. He kept checking the mirrors. We ended up at a motel on the edge of town, the kind that rented by the hour. Tyler paid cash for 2 nights and gave a fake name. The room smelled like cigarettes and bleach. I sat on one of the beds while Tyler paced. His phone rang constantly. Mom, Dad, coaches, teammates. He turned it off and threw it on the nightstand. "Madison's family," he said suddenly. "We have to warn them." "How?" "If we call, they'll know where we are." Tyler punched the wall. Not hard enough to break anything, but hard enough to hurt. He sat down and put his head in his hands. "I knew," he said. "For 2 years I knew something was wrong. The way you changed, the way you flinched when he came near you. I knew, and I did nothing. You were 14, I said. What could you have done? Something. Anything. Instead, I took his money and played hockey while he hurt you. We sat in silence. The motel walls were thin, and we could hear someone's TV through the wall. Tyler's phone buzzed even though it was off. That didn't make sense. He picked it up, and the screen was black, but still vibrating. That's weird, he said. Then my phone started buzzing too. Also turned off. Also impossible. Tyler grabbed both phones and threw them in the bathroom sink. He turned on the water. They're tracking us, he said. Mom must have installed something. We left the phones drowning, and Tyler grabbed our bags. Back in the car, he drove without direction, just moving, always checking mirrors. The gas gauge dropped toward empty. We need a plan, I said. I know someone, Tyler said. My old coach from before Mr. Christopherson, Coach Mitchell. He quit when the sponsorship started. Said something felt wrong about the whole thing. Where does he live? About an hour north, small town called Riverside. Tyler stopped for gas, paying cash inside. While he pumped, I watched a family at the next pump. Normal parents with normal kids on a normal night. The mother was laughing at something the father said. Their daughter, about Madison's age, was playing a game on her phone. They had no idea monsters like Mr. Christopherson existed, that parents could sell their own children. Tyler got back in, and we headed north. The highway was empty except for trucks. I must have dozed off because suddenly Tyler was shaking me awake. We were parked outside a small house with a porch light on. Stay in the car, Tyler said. Let me talk to him first. I watched Tyler walk to the door. It opened before he could knock. Coach Mitchell was older than I remembered, gray in his beard now. They talked on the porch. I saw Coach Mitchell's face change from confusion to anger to something like grief. He looked at the car, at me, then back at Tyler. Finally, he nodded and waved me over. Lily, Coach Mitchell said, I'm so sorry. Come inside, both of you. His house was warm and lived in. Photos of youth hockey teams covered one wall. Tyler was in some of them, smiling and young, before Mr. Christopherson. Coach Mitchell's wife came downstairs in a bathrobe, took one look at us, and started making hot chocolate without asking questions. Tell me everything, Coach Mitchell said. So we did. Tyler and I taking turns, filling in pieces the other didn't know. Coach Mitchell's face got harder with every detail. His wife sat beside him, holding his hand. When we finished, the room was quiet, except for the clock ticking. I should have pushed harder, Coach Mitchell said finally. When Christopherson showed up with his money and his promises, something felt wrong. The way he looked at the kids, not just the boys, but nobody wanted to hear it, not with that kind of money on the table. It's not your fault, Tyler said. I'm a mandated reporter, Coach Mitchell said. We're calling the police. So Tyler's been getting Mr. Christopherson's money for hockey while knowing something was wrong with his sister for 2 years? That's quite the guilty conscience finally kicking in. I'm curious why Coach Mitchell had bad feelings about Christopherson from the start, but nobody listened when money was involved. Tonight, our parents, I started. Your parents can go to hell, Coach Mitchell's wife said. It was the first time she'd spoken. Sorry for the language, but any parent who does what they did deserves whatever's coming. Coach Mitchell was already on the phone. Not 911, but someone he knew personally. A detective who specialized in these cases. While he talked, his wife showed us to the guest room. 2 beds, clean sheets, a lock on the door. You're safe here, she said. We have a good security system and neighbors who watch out for each other. Tyler and I sat on our beds. We could hear Coach Mitchell still on the phone downstairs, his voice rising occasionally. The adrenaline was wearing off, and I felt empty, hollow. What about hockey? I asked Tyler. You worked your whole life for this. Hockey's just a game, Tyler said. You're my sister. I should have remembered that sooner. Someone knocked on the door. Coach Mitchell's wife brought us sandwiches and water. We ate mechanically. Food had no taste anymore. Hadn't for 2 years. The detective will be here in an hour, she said. She's good. She'll help. After she left, Tyler moved to my bed and hugged me. We both cried. 2 years of silence breaking like a dam. All the times I'd wanted to tell him but couldn't. All the times he'd suspected but looked away. The weight of secrets finally lifting. Madison, I said suddenly. We still have to warn Madison. The detective will handle it, Tyler said. Coach Mitchell told her about Dad's offer, but I couldn't shake the image of Madison asking Mr. Christopherson for piggyback rides. Her family struggling for money. Her parents probably just as desperate as ours. Would the detective be fast enough? Would Madison's parents believe it? Or would they choose money over their daughter like our parents had? Tyler's old phone was still at the motel, drowned in the sink, but he'd memorized some numbers. He borrowed Coach Mitchell's phone and called Madison's older brother, one of his teammates. Hey, it's Tyler, he said. I need to talk to you about something important, about your sister and Mr. Christopherson. I could hear yelling through the phone, angry voices. Tyler tried to explain, but the line went dead. He called back. No answer. They already got to them, Tyler said. Our parents must have called everyone, told them we're lying troublemakers. The doorbell rang downstairs, too soon to be the detective. Tyler and I froze. Coach Mitchell's voice, then another man's voice. Familiar. My stomach dropped. That's Dad, I whispered. We crept to the top of the stairs to listen. Dad was using his reasonable voice, the one he used for teachers and cops when Tyler got in trouble. I'm sorry to bother you so late, Dad was saying. Our kids had a fight and ran off. You know how teenagers are. We're just worried sick. I haven't seen them, Coach Mitchell said. Really? Because Tyler's car is parked outside. Silence. Then Coach Mitchell. You need to leave. Now. I want my kids, Dad said. Not reasonable anymore. You have no right to keep them. Your daughter is 15. She's made serious allegations. The police are already involved. She's a liar, Dad said. Always has been. Makes up stories for attention. We've tried therapy, but nothing works. I wanted to scream, to run downstairs and confront him. Tyler held me back. Get off my property, Coach Mitchell said. The detective will be here soon. You can explain yourself to her. Dad said something too quiet to hear. Then the door slammed. We heard a car start and drive away. Coach Mitchell came upstairs. Pack your things, he said. We're moving you somewhere else. He'll be back with your mother or worse. We grabbed our bags and followed him to his truck. Tyler's car would stay here as a decoy. Coach Mitchell drove us across town to another house. This one had toys in the yard and a minivan in the driveway. My daughter's place, he said. She's a teacher, knows how to handle situations like this. His daughter met us at the door. She looked like him but younger, same kind eyes. 3 kids peered from behind her legs. She sent them back to bed and showed us to the basement. It was finished, carpeted, with a pull-out couch and its own bathroom. Detective Morris Madison will meet us here, she said. Dad's going to wait at his house in case your parents come back. We sat on the pull-out couch and waited. Tyler kept checking the windows even though they were covered. Every car that passed made us jump. Finally, headlights filled the driveway. Coach Mitchell's daughter went up to answer the door. Detective Morrison wasn't what I expected. Young, maybe 30, with tired eyes and a kind smile. She sat across from us with a recorder and notebook. I know this is hard, she said, but I need you to tell me everything. Start from the beginning. So I did. Every detail I'd kept locked inside for 2 years. The first time in his car, the weekend trips, the threats, the way my parents responded when I tried to tell them. Tyler added what he'd observed. The detective listened without interrupting, occasionally writing notes. Has he hurt anyone else? She asked when I finished. We don't know, Tyler said, but my parents offered him another girl tonight, Madison Turner. She's 11. The detective's face hardened. She made a phone call, speaking quietly but urgently. When she hung up, she looked at us. Officers are going to the Turner house now, she said. We'll make sure Madison is safe. Our parents, I started, will be arrested, she finished. What they did is criminal. Endangering a minor, failure to protect, conspiracy. Mr. Christopherson will be arrested too, once we have your formal statement. What about us? Tyler asked. Where do we go? Tonight you stay here. Tomorrow we'll contact child services. You have family, grandparents, aunts or uncles? Our grandmother, I said. Mom's mother. She lives 2 states away. We'll contact her, see if she's willing to take temporary custody. The detective asked more questions. Details about dates, times, places. It was exhausting, humiliating, but also freeing. Every word I spoke took power away from Mr. Christopherson and my parents. Tyler held my hand through the worst parts. When I described the things Mr. Christopherson did, Tyler's jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth might crack, but he stayed calm, stayed strong, the brother I'd needed all along. Finally, the detective closed her notebook. You're both very brave, she said. What you did tonight, speaking up, it saved Madison. Maybe others too. After she left, Coach Mitchell's daughter brought down pillows and blankets. Tyler insisted I take the pull-out couch. He made a bed on the floor with cushions. We lay in the dark, processing everything. I'm proud of you, Tyler said. I know that sounds stupid coming from me after I failed you for so long, but I'm proud of you for surviving, for speaking up, for being stronger than all of us. I'm proud of you too, I said, for choosing me over hockey, for finally seeing the truth. I love you, Lily. I'm sorry I forgot that for a while. I love you too. We fell asleep like that, talking in the dark. For the first time in 2 years, I didn't have nightmares, didn't wake up in a cold sweat, just slept, deep and peaceful, knowing that tomorrow would be hard, but I wouldn't face it alone. The sound of sirens woke us, not close, but not far either. Tyler was already awake, sitting by the window. Dawn was breaking, painting the sky pink and gold. They arrested him, Tyler said. Coach Mitchell called. They got Mr. Christopherson at his house this morning. Our parents too. I sat up, not sure how to feel. Relief, anger, fear, all of it at once. What happens now? I asked. Now we figure out how to live, Tyler said. How to be a family again. Just you and me. The morning light filtered through the basement windows as Tyler and I sat in silence. Coach Mitchell's daughter came downstairs with breakfast and fresh clothes. She explained that Detective Morrison had called with updates. Our parents were being held for questioning, and Mr. Christopherson had hired a lawyer. Madison's family had been contacted but refused to cooperate with the investigation. Tyler's face darkened at this news. He pushed his eggs around his plate without eating. I knew what he was thinking because I was thinking it too. Madison was still in danger. Coach Mitchell arrived an hour later with troubling information. He'd driven past our house and seen Mr. Christopherson's car in the driveway. Our parents had already been released on their own recognizance. The detective needed more evidence before formal charges could be filed. Tyler stood up so fast his chair fell over. He grabbed his jacket and headed for the stairs. I followed, knowing exactly where he intended to go. Coach Mitchell blocked our path, explaining that confronting them now would only make things worse. Tyler's hands clenched into fists, but he stepped back. We spent the morning in the basement, Tyler pacing like a caged animal. I tried calling Madison's house from Coach Mitchell's daughter's phone, but no one answered. Tyler attempted to reach other teammates who might help, but word had spread. Our parents had already poisoned the well, telling everyone that I was disturbed and Tyler was being manipulated. Around noon, Coach Mitchell's daughter received a call that made her face go pale. She handed the phone to Tyler. I watched his expression change from confusion to fury. When he hung up, his whole body was shaking. Our parents had filed a missing persons report, claiming we'd been kidnapped. They'd told the police that Coach Mitchell was unstable, that he'd always been jealous of Tyler's success under Mr. Christopherson's sponsorship. Now, there were officers on their way to question everyone. Coach Mitchell made quick decisions. He called his daughter's neighbor, a retired teacher named Mrs. Chen, who agreed to let us stay in her spare room. Tyler's parents filing a missing persons report while being investigated for child endangerment. That's like robbing a bank and then calling the cops because someone stole your getaway car. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off. We gathered our few belongings and slipped out the back door, cutting through yards to avoid being seen from the street. Mrs. Chen's house smelled like ginger tea and old books. She didn't ask questions, just showed us to a small room with twin beds and told us to stay away from the windows. Tyler immediately started planning our next move. He was convinced we needed to get to Madison before our parents and Mr. Christopherson solidified their hold on her family. That afternoon, while Mrs. Chen was at her book club, Tyler snuck out despite my protests. He returned an hour later with a grim expression. He'd driven past Madison's school and seen Mr. Christopherson's car in the parking lot. Through the fence, he'd watched Mr. Christopherson talking to Madison's mother, handing her an envelope that was undoubtedly full of cash. I felt sick. We both knew what that envelope meant. Another family desperate enough to look the other way. Another girl who would learn to wear baggy clothes and hide in her room. Tyler spent the rest of the day on Mrs. Chen's old computer, researching everything he could about Mr. Christopherson. He found business records, property holdings, and social media profiles. Nothing immediately incriminating, but he printed everything anyway. I helped him organize the papers, looking for patterns or connections we could use. Evening brought new complications. Mrs. Chen returned from her book club with news that police had been canvassing the neighborhood, showing our photos and asking if anyone had seen us. She wasn't worried about herself, but she was concerned for Coach Mitchell and his family. Getting them in trouble wasn't fair. Tyler and I discussed our options. We couldn't stay here and put more people at risk, but we also couldn't leave town without helping Madison. Tyler suggested we go to Grandma's house as originally planned, but I knew he didn't mean it. He wouldn't leave Madison behind any more than he'd left me. Mrs. Chen made us dinner and shared stories about her own grandchildren. She didn't pry into our situation, but her kindness made me want to tell her everything. Tyler caught my eye and shook his head slightly. The fewer people who knew details, the better. After dinner, Tyler's burner phone buzzed. Coach Mitchell had sent a text from his own burner. Detective Morrison wanted to meet with us again, this time at a neutral location. She had questions about other potential victims and needed our help building a stronger case. We arranged to meet at a 24-hour diner on the outskirts of town. Mrs. Chen lent us her car, an old sedan that wouldn't draw attention. Tyler drove while I watched for anyone following us. The streets were mostly empty, but every set of headlights made my heart race. The diner was nearly deserted. Detective Morrison sat in a back booth, nursing a cup of coffee. She looked tired and frustrated. She explained that without physical evidence or cooperative witnesses, the case was falling apart. Our parents were sticking to their story, and Mr. Christophersen's lawyer was already threatening harassment charges. Tyler slid his folder of research across the table. The detective flipped through it, her expression growing more discouraged. None of it was enough. She needed Madison's family to cooperate, or another victim to come forward, or some kind of physical evidence that Mr. Christophersen couldn't explain away. I remembered something then. The weekend trips. Mr. Christophersen always paid for everything in cash, but he'd taken pictures. Lots of pictures. He'd said they were for dance competitions, for my portfolio, but I knew better. Those pictures were on his phone, his computer. If the police could get a warrant. Detective Morrison's eyes sharpened as I explained. This was something concrete she could work with. She asked detailed questions about the trips, the locations, the dates. Tyler added what he remembered from hockey tournaments, where Mr. Christophersen had been present. Slowly, a pattern emerged. We left the diner separately, Tyler and I waiting 15 minutes after the detective departed. On the drive back, we didn't speak. We both knew that even with this new information, it might not be enough. Mr. Christophersen had money and connections. Our parents would protect him to protect themselves. Back at Mrs. Chen's house, we found her waiting up for us. She'd received a phone call while we were gone. A man's voice, asking if she'd seen two teenagers matching our descriptions. The caller had been polite but insistent, offering a reward for information. Mrs. Chen had played confused, but she was worried. Tyler and I exchanged glances. Mr. Christophersen was getting desperate. Or maybe it was our parents, trying to track us down before we could do more damage. Either way, we couldn't stay here any longer. We packed our bags again, preparing to leave in the morning. Tyler barely slept, spending most of the night staring at the ceiling. I dozed fitfully, waking every time a car passed outside. Somewhere in town, Madison was sleeping in her own bed, unaware of the danger closing in. Morning came too soon. Mrs. Chen made us breakfast and packed sandwiches for the road. She pressed some cash into Tyler's hand despite his protests. As we prepared to leave, she pulled me aside and whispered that she believed us. That small validation meant more than I could express. Tyler had decided we should go to Madison's house directly, not to confront anyone, but to watch, to be ready if an opportunity arose to warn her. It was risky, but doing nothing felt worse. We parked several blocks away and walked, keeping to the shadows of early morning. Madison's house was small and tidy, with a garden gnome by the front door. We positioned ourselves behind a neighbor's shed where we could see the driveway. Tyler checked his watch obsessively. Madison would leave for school soon. A car pulled up, and my stomach dropped. Mr. Christophersen emerged, straightening his tie. He knocked on the door, and Madison's mother answered. They spoke briefly before she called Madison to the door. The girl appeared in her school uniform, backpack slung over one shoulder. Mr. Christophersen offered to drive Madison to school. Her mother hesitated, then nodded. As Madison walked to his car, she looked so small, so trusting, just like I had been at 13. Tyler started forward, but I grabbed his arm. We couldn't confront them here. It would only make things worse. But watching Madison get into that car, knowing what would happen, was unbearable. Tyler's jaw clenched so tight I could hear his teeth grinding. They drove away, and Madison's mother went back inside. Tyler and I stood frozen behind the shed, both processing what we'd witnessed, the casualness of it, the normality. How many times had I gotten into that same car while my parents waved goodbye? We returned to Mrs. Chen's car and followed at a distance. Mr. Christophersen drove to Madison's school and dropped her off at the front entrance. Nothing inappropriate, nothing anyone would question, but Tyler and I knew better. This was how it started. The helpful rides, the special attention, the grooming. Tyler wanted to follow Mr. Christophersen, but I convinced him we needed a better plan. We drove to a park and sat in the car, discussing options. Tyler suggested we talk to Madison directly after school, but I knew she wouldn't believe us. Why would she? Mr. Christophersen was the nice man helping her family. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. My hands shook as I read it. Stop making trouble or your brother pays the price. You know what I'm capable of. No signature, but I recognized the threat. Mr. Christophersen had gotten a new number. Tyler read the message, and his face went dark. He started the car and drove with purpose. I asked where we were going, but he didn't answer. We ended up at the sporting goods store, one of Mr. Christophersen's businesses. Tyler parked across the street and stared at the storefront. I knew what he was thinking. Burn it down. Destroy everything Mr. Christophersen had built. But that wouldn't save Madison or punish our parents. It would only land Tyler in jail and leave me alone. I talked him down, reminding him that we needed to be smart. We spent the afternoon driving aimlessly, both lost in thought. Tyler's phone rang, Coach Mitchell's number. But when Tyler answered, it wasn't Coach Mitchell's voice. It was Dad's. He'd gotten the number somehow, probably from going through Coach Mitchell's house. Dad tried his reasonable voice first, then switched to threats when Tyler wouldn't respond. He said they'd already filed kidnapping charges against Coach Mitchell, that Tyler was ruining his future over nothing, that I'd poisoned him against his own family. Tyler hung up without speaking. The weight of what we'd started was settling in. Coach Mitchell was in trouble because of us. us. Mrs. Chen might be next. Everyone who'd helped us was at risk. Tyler pulled into a gas station parking lot and put his head on the steering wheel. I touched his shoulder, feeling him shake with suppressed emotion. We'd escaped our parents' house, but we hadn't escaped their reach. They had money, connections, and most importantly, they had Mr. Christophersen's backing. We were just two teenagers with no resources and nowhere to go. Tyler's phone rang again. This time it was Detective Morrison. Her voice was strained as she delivered bad news. The judge had denied the warrant request for Mr. Christophersen's electronics. Without probable cause or a cooperating witness, there was nothing more she could do officially. She suggested we consider going to our grandmother's house for our own safety. After she hung up, Tyler and I sat in silence. The legal system had failed us, just as our parents had. Madison was going to suffer because we couldn't prove what we knew to be true. The unfairness of it burned in my chest. Tyler started the car with new determination. He drove back toward Madison's neighborhood, parking on a different street this time. Madison's mother taking that envelope full of cash while her daughter stands there unaware makes me wonder how many warning signs she's choosing to ignore right now. Tyler printing out all those business records and property holdings seems like such a desperate move when school would be ending soon. He was planning something. I could tell by the set of his jaw. We waited until we saw Madison walking home with a group of friends. She was laughing at something one of them said, her ponytail bouncing with each step. So innocent, so unaware. Tyler got out of the car before I could stop him. He didn't approach Madison directly. Instead, he intercepted one of her friends, a boy from his hockey team's younger division. They talked briefly, Tyler gesturing urgently. The boy looked confused, but nodded. When the group reached Madison's house, the boy said something to her before continuing on. Tyler returned to the car and explained. He'd asked the boy to tell Madison that if anyone ever made her uncomfortable, she could call him. He'd given the boy his burner phone number to pass along. It wasn't much, but it was something. As we drove away, my phone buzzed with another text. This time, it was from Mom. Come home now, and we'll forget this happened. Keep running, and you'll regret it. I showed Tyler, who laughed bitterly, as if we could just forget 2 years of abuse and betrayal. Evening approached, and we needed somewhere to sleep. Mrs. Chen's house was no longer safe, and we couldn't risk another motel. Tyler remembered an old hunting cabin his team had used for bonding trips. It was abandoned now, an hour outside town. Not ideal, but better than sleeping in the car. The drive took us through winding forest roads. Tyler had to stop twice to check his memory of the route. Finally, we found the cabin, barely visible through overgrown trees. It was smaller than I remembered, with broken windows and a sagging roof. Inside was musty, but dry. Tyler found some old blankets in a closet, shaking out the dust and spiders. We made beds on the floor, using our bags as pillows. As darkness fell, the temperature dropped. We huddled together for warmth, neither of us speaking about how far we'd fallen in just 2 days. Tyler's phone battery was dying. He turned it off to preserve power. We were truly cut off now, alone in the woods while our parents and Mr. Christophersen controlled the narrative back in town. I wondered if anyone besides Coach Mitchell and Detective Morrison believed our story. Sleep came in fits and starts. Every forest sound made us jump. Branches scraping the roof became footsteps. Wind through broken windows became whispered threats. By dawn, we were both exhausted and cold. Tyler ventured outside to check the car. He returned quickly, his face pale. Fresh tire tracks led up the overgrown road. Someone had been here during the night. We grabbed our things and left immediately, not wanting to find out who'd been looking for us. Back on the main road, Tyler stopped at a gas station to buy food and charge his phone. While I used the bathroom, he checked messages. His expression when I returned told me the news wasn't good. Detective Morrison had been removed from the case. Officially, it was due to resource allocation. Unofficially, Mr. Christophersen's lawyer had complained about harassment. We sat in the car eating stale donuts, both feeling the walls closing in. Our parents had won. Mr. Christophersen had won. The system had failed not just us, but Madison and any other girls who might cross his path. Tyler crumpled his napkin and threw it at the dashboard in frustration. I suggested we try calling Grandma again. Maybe if we told her everything, she'd help us figure out next steps. Tyler was reluctant, knowing our parents had probably already poisoned that well too, but we were running out of options. Tyler dialed from the gas station payphone. Grandma answered on the third ring. Her voice was cold when she recognized Tyler's voice. She'd heard all about our tantrum and wild accusations. She couldn't believe we'd hurt our parents this way after everything they'd sacrificed. Tyler tried to explain, but Grandma cut him off. She'd already agreed with our parents that tough love was needed. If we showed up at her door, she'd call them immediately. The betrayal in Tyler's face as he hung up made my chest ache. Even Grandma had chosen their lies over us. We returned to the car in defeat. Every avenue was closing. Every ally was being turned against us. Tyler started driving without destination, just needing to move. I watched the familiar streets pass by, feeling like a ghost in my own life. As we passed the ice rink, Tyler suddenly pulled over. He stared at the building where everything had changed just days ago. His 16th birthday party. The night he'd finally seen the truth and chosen me over hockey. It felt like a lifetime ago. Tyler got out and walked to the doors. They were locked, but he pressed his face against the glass, looking in at the ice where he'd spent so many hours. All those early morning practices, all those dreams of Olympic glory, all gone because he'd done the right thing. I joined him at the doors. Inside, a new banner hung from the rafters. Congratulations, Tyler Morrison, state championship MVP. His moment of triumph, now forever tainted. He turned away, unable to look anymore. We were about to leave when a familiar car pulled into the parking lot. Madison's mother emerged, followed by Madison in her dance clothes. My blood ran cold. This was the same rink where Mr. Christophersen had taken me for extra practice after hours. Tyler and I ducked behind our car, watching as they entered through a side door. Madison was smiling, excited about something. Her mother looked tired but pleased. They had no idea what they were walking into. We waited 5 minutes, then Tyler tried the side door. It was unlocked. We slipped inside, staying in the shadows of the lobby. Through the window to the rink, we could see Madison Madison on the ice with a figure skating coach. Normal lesson, nothing sinister yet. Then Mr. Christopherson appeared from the offices, coffee in hand. He greeted Madison's mother warmly, sitting beside her in the bleachers. They chatted while watching Madison practice. Just two adults supporting a talented child. The perfect cover. Tyler's hands clenched into fists. I knew he wanted to burst in, to scream the truth for everyone to hear. But who would believe us? We were the runaway troublemakers. He was the respected businessman and philanthropist. We watched for 20 minutes, noting every interaction. Mr. Christopherson kept a respectful distance from Madison, playing the role perfectly. But I saw the way he watched her, the same way he'd watched me, patient, calculating, waiting for the right moment. When the lesson ended, we retreated to our car. Madison and her mother left first, Mr. Christopherson following a few minutes later. Tyler wanted to tail him, but I was exhausted. We'd been running on adrenaline for days, and it was catching up to us. We found a quiet spot by the river to rest and regroup. Tyler skipped stones while I sat on a fallen log, trying to think of what to do next. Every option seemed worse than the last. We couldn't save Madison without evidence. We couldn't get evidence without access. We couldn't get access without exposing ourselves to danger. Tyler's phone buzzed. Coach Mitchell's daughter, using a friend's phone. She warned us that police were actively searching for us now. Our parents had escalated the missing persons report, claiming we were in danger and needed immediate psychiatric intervention. If found, we'd be returned to their custody for our own safety. The trap was complete. Even if we went to the authorities ourselves, we'd be dismissed as troubled teens in need of help. Our parents had crafted the perfect narrative. We were the problem, not them, not Mr. Christopherson. As the sun began to set, Tyler made a decision. We couldn't run forever. We couldn't hide and hope things would change. If we wanted to save Madison and stop Mr. Christopherson, we'd have to take risks. We'd have to be smarter than our parents expected. He outlined a plan. It was dangerous and probably wouldn't work, but it was better than doing nothing. We'd need help from the few people who still believed us. We'd need to document everything, and we'd need Madison to trust us, even though we were strangers telling her terrible things about people she liked. I agreed, knowing we had no other choice. Tomorrow, we'd stop running and start fighting back. But tonight, we needed rest and a safe place to plan. Tyler remembered another teammate whose family had a lake house that was empty in the off-season. One more night of hiding, then we'd face whatever came next. As we drove toward the lake, I thought about Madison. Was she home now, doing homework and texting friends? Did she notice the way Mr. Christopherson looked at her? Had the grooming already begun? Subtle touches disguised as encouragement? The thought made me sick. Tyler reached over and squeezed my hand. We'd been through hell, but we'd survived. We'd lost our family, our home, our future as we'd known it. But we'd gained something too. Truth, freedom, each other. And maybe, if we were brave enough and smart enough, we could save Madison from living through what I had. The lake house appeared through the trees, dark and welcoming. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new dangers. Our parents wouldn't stop. Mr. Christopherson wouldn't stop, but neither would we. Not until Madison was safe. Not until the truth was known. Tyler picked a lock with skills learned from less innocent times. Inside was cold, but clean. We found canned food in the pantry and blankets in a closet. As we settled in for the night, Tyler pulled out his notebook and began refining his plan. I watched him work, seeing not the hockey star our parents had tried to create, but the brother I'd needed all along. He'd given up everything to protect me. Now it was time to protect someone else. Together, we'd find a way. We had to. The lake house gave us one night of peace before everything exploded. Tyler woke me at dawn, his face grim. He'd been up most of the night finalizing his plan. Tyler's playing secret guardian angel by passing his number through a hockey kid like it's middle school all over again. Because nothing says trust me about danger like mysterious phone numbers from teenage strangers. We had maybe 12 hours before someone found us here. Tyler drove us back toward town, taking back roads I didn't recognize. He stopped at a hardware store and bought supplies with the last of our cash. Rope, duct tape, a disposable camera. My stomach churned watching him load the items into a backpack. We parked behind an abandoned warehouse near Madison's school. Tyler checked his watch constantly. School would let out in 4 hours. That gave us time to prepare. Tyler led me through the warehouse to a broken window overlooking the parking lot. From here, we could see the school's side entrance where parents picked up kids. He set up the camera on a dusty crate, testing angles. 3 hours passed slowly. Tyler paced while I kept watch. Finally, cars began arriving for pickup. Madison's mother pulled up in her old sedan. Then Mr. Christopherson's car appeared, parking 2 spots away. Tyler tensed beside me. We watched Madison emerge from school, waving goodbye to friends. She started toward her mother's car. Then Mr. Christopherson called out to her. Madison changed direction, approaching his vehicle instead. Her mother got out, looking confused. Mr. Christopherson spoke to her briefly, gesturing toward Madison. The mother hesitated, then nodded. Madison climbed into Mr. Christopherson's passenger seat. Tyler snapped photos rapidly as they drove away. Madison's mother stood in the parking lot for a moment, then got back in her car and left. The whole exchange took less than 2 minutes. We followed Mr. Christopherson's car at a distance. He didn't drive toward Madison's house or the ice rink. Instead, he headed for the industrial district. Tyler's knuckles went white on the steering wheel. Mr. Christopherson pulled into a storage facility. Tyler parked across the street where we could watch the entrance. 20 minutes passed. 30. My hands shook as I imagined what might be happening inside. Tyler couldn't wait any longer. He grabbed the backpack and got out. I followed, my heart pounding. We slipped through a gap in the fence and crept between the storage units. We heard Madison's voice first, high and frightened. Then Mr. Christopherson's, low and coaxing. Tyler rounded the corner of a unit and froze. Through an open door, we could see Mr. Christopherson standing too close to Madison, his hand on her shoulder. Tyler moved before I could stop him. He rushed forward and shoved Mr. Christopherson away from Madison. The man stumbled, his face shifting from surprise to rage. Madison pressed herself against the wall, eyes wide. Mr. Christopherson lunged at Tyler. They crashed into metal shelving, boxes tumbling around them. I grabbed Madison's hand and pulled her outside. She was crying, asking what was happening. The fight spilled out of the storage unit. Tyler was younger and stronger, but Mr. Christopherson fought dirty. He grabbed a piece of rebar and swung it at Tyler's head. Tyler ducked and tackled him to the ground. I fumbled with Tyler's phone, trying to call for help. But who would I call? The police who didn't believe us? Our parents who enabled this? Madison clung to my arm, sobbing. Tyler managed to pin Mr. Christopherson down. He used the duct tape from his backpack to bind the man's wrists and ankles. Mr. Christopherson thrashed and screamed threats, but Tyler just stared at him with cold fury. We heard sirens in the distance. Someone must have heard the commotion and called 911. Tyler grabbed the camera and checked the photos. He'd captured enough. Mr. Christopherson taking Madison, them entering the storage facility. Evidence. Tyler knelt beside Madison and spoke gently. She nodded through her tears. When the police arrived, she was ready to tell them what Mr. Christopherson had tried to do, what he'd been building up to for weeks. The officers recognized Tyler and me from the missing persons report. They tried to separate us, but Madison wouldn't let go of my hand. She told them we'd saved her, that Mr. Christopherson had been touching her inappropriately. More police arrived. Then Detective Morrison, despite being off the case. She took one look at the scene and took charge. Mr. Christopherson was arrested, still screaming about lawsuits and connections. Madison's mother arrived in hysterics. She'd gotten worried when Madison didn't come home and had been driving around searching. When Madison told her what happened, her mother collapsed in tears, apologizing over and over. Our parents showed up next. Mom tried to approach me, but a female officer blocked her path. Dad demanded we come with them immediately. Detective Morrison informed them they were under investigation for child endangerment. The next hours blurred together. The police station, statements, Madison's brave recounting of weeks of grooming, the photos from Tyler's camera showing Mr. Christopherson's pattern, other evidence emerging. Coach Mitchell arrived with a lawyer he'd hired for us, not a fancy one, just a local attorney who believed in doing right. She shut down our parents' attempts to regain custody, citing the ongoing investigation. Madison's mother broke down completely when she learned about the money Mr. Christopherson had been giving her. She thought it was charity, help for a struggling family. The truth destroyed her. By evening, the storage facility had been searched. Police found photographs, not just of Madison starting her grooming, but others, girls from years past. Some I recognized from hockey events, evidence Mr. Christopherson had kept like trophies. Tyler and I were placed in emergency foster care with a couple Detective Morrison knew. They lived on a small farm outside town. It was quiet there, safe. The first night, Tyler and I sat on their porch, processing everything. Our parents were charged with endangerment and conspiracy. They hired expensive lawyers, but the evidence was overwhelming. Text messages, financial records, the testimony of multiple families Mr. Christopherson had approached over the years. Madison started therapy immediately. Her mother threw herself into supporting her daughter, selling everything Mr. Christopherson had given them. The money went to a fund for abuse survivors. Tyler returned to school after a week, not to play hockey, but to graduate. His teammates didn't know how to act around him. Some supported him. Others, poisoned by rumors, kept their distance. I enrolled in online classes. The local school felt too exposed, too full of people who knew our story. The foster family's farmhouse became my sanctuary. I helped with chores, finding peace in simple routines. Coach Mitchell visited often. He'd been cleared of all charges and was helping coordinate support for Mr. Christopherson's victims. 3 more girls had come forward after seeing Madison's courage. Our parents' trial date was set for 6 months out. Their lawyers tried various strategies, mental health defenses, claims of manipulation by Mr. Christopherson. Nothing stuck. The evidence was too clear. Tyler got a job at a local grocery store. College hockey scholarships were obviously gone, but he didn't care. He was saving money for us to start fresh somewhere new after he graduated. I started seeing a therapist twice a week. Talking helped, slowly. She didn't push, just let me process at my own pace. Some days were harder than others. Nightmares, panic attacks, but also good days. Madison's family moved to another town to start over. Before they left, Madison hugged me tight and whispered thank you. Her mother couldn't meet my eyes, but she squeezed my hand. They needed distance from everything. Mr. Christopherson took a plea deal to avoid trial. 15 years in prison. Not enough, but it meant Madison and I wouldn't have to testify, wouldn't have to face him again. His businesses were liquidated, assets going to victim restitution. Spring came slowly. Tyler and I helped our foster parents with planting. There was something healing about working the soil, watching things grow. We didn't talk much about the future, just focused on each day. Grandma reached out through Coach Mitchell. She'd learned the truth and was devastated. She wanted to apologize, to help somehow. Tyler and I weren't ready for that conversation. Maybe someday, maybe never. Our parents were convicted on all charges, 2 years in prison each, plus probation. They lost the house, lost everything. During sentencing, Mom tried to make eye contact with me. I looked away. Tyler graduated quietly. No fanfare, no hockey championships, just a diploma and a chance to move forward. He'd been accepted to a community college 2 states away. We planned to go together. The foster family offered to let us stay through summer. They were kind people who understood trauma. They gave us space when we needed it, support when we were ready. Real parents would have been like them. I finished my junior year online with decent grades. My guidance counselor helped me plan for senior year at the new school where Tyler would attend college. A fresh start where nobody knew our story. One evening, Tyler and I walked through the fields behind the farmhouse. The sun was setting, painting everything gold. We didn't need to talk. We'd survived. We'd protected Madison. We'd found our way through. Tyler had saved enough for a small apartment near his college. 2 bedrooms, a kitchen where I could learn to cook, windows that locked properly. A new life built on our own terms. Our last week at the farm, Detective Morrison visited. Other victims were doing well. Madison was thriving in therapy. The case had changed how the department handled abuse reports. Small changes, but meaningful ones. We packed our few belongings into Tyler's car. The foster parents hugged us goodbye, making us promise to stay in touch. Coach Mitchell saw us off, pressing extra cash into Tyler's hand despite protests. The drive to our new town took 10 hours. We stopped at rest areas, stretching our legs and breathing free air. No one followed us. No one threatened us. We were just two siblings starting over. The apartment was small but clean. We spent the first day setting up secondhand furniture and stocking the kitchen. That night, we ate spaghetti at our own table in our own home. Tyler smiled, really smiled, for the first time in months. I started senior year at a school where I was just another new student, made a few friends, joined the art club, normal teenage things I'd never thought I'd experience. Tyler worked part-time while taking classes. We built routines, Sunday dinners together, movie nights, studying at the kitchen table. Healing happened slowly, in small moments, in the safety we'd created for ourselves, in the choice to keep going. Sometimes I thought about Madison, hoped she was healing too. We'd saved her from the worst of it. That had to count for something. Tyler never regretted giving up hockey. He'd chosen right when it mattered. Our new life wasn't perfect. Therapy continued. Nightmares still came. Trust was hard, but we were free. We'd broken the cycle. We'd protected an innocent girl. We'd survived our family and built something better. Tyler and I had learned that family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who believes you, who fights for you. We'd lost our parents, but found our truth, found each other. That was enough to build on.